Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we're discussing what's next in the Warhammer 40k narrative, and how the next stage appears to be finally beginning. No real need for a spoiler warning today, as we're talking the latest news in the lore, and a recap of what's happened thus far, so I think we can safely jump straight in. Okay, so ever since Lionel Johnson arrived back in the Arcs of Omen campaign, there hasn't really been much happen in the 40k narrative. At least nothing major. We've kind of just been left wondering on what's going to happen next. It was a bit of a strange feeling. We had the bombshell return of the second loyal Primarch, and the Lion no less, really putting excitement through the roof. But then nothing. We haven't even had a novel with L. Johnson back in his chapter yet, let alone reuniting with Guilliman, visiting the Throne World and the Emperor. And so it's been a bit anticlimactic to say the least. Definitely losing a lot of steam, as it were, as the months have progressed. I guess it's a bit of a tricky balance to tread, moving a story on without going too far, having to keep a setting and background what it is. However, I certainly think a novel of L. Johnson with his chapter post-Wormwood Encounter, or even say another first founding chapter hearing of L. Johnson's return, would have definitely helped fill the void without rocking the boat. However, that said, for all the lack of eye-catching big installments we've received, we have had the narrative subtly developing, slowly in the background, with the Dawn of Fire series. There, we've had the reintroduction of the Starchild narrative, the secret race between Chaos and Imperium, to find and deny it to the other side. And perhaps more importantly for today's discussion, the discovery of the Attilan Gate, the second safe crossing of the Great Rift. A passageway that opens and closes with the currents of the warp. This was the objective that Guilliman had been seeking, to relieve pressure on the embattled Nachmund Gauntlet. And at the end of Belisarius Caul's last novel, Genefather, we saw a message from Guilliman stating he was on the eve of launching his crossing, which was surely going to happen at the Attilan Gate. So, very slow steps to say the least, but moving nonetheless. And now, we have the Nachmund Gauntlet Crusade book releasing, which has moved the narrative on further, essentially all but giving the Nachmund Gauntlet entirely to Chaos, the forces of Abaddon, which, believe it or not, is actually a very good thing. As the Warhammer community website post regarding the update would tell us, the fragile reprieve granted by Marneus Calgar's desperate victory on Vigilus is over, and a formidable armada now bears down on the barrier worlds of the Imperium Sanctus in Warhammer 40,000 Crusade Nachmund Gauntlet, the next epic narrative expansion for Warhammer 40,000. Harkon Worldclaimer has returned, and has pledged to drive his spear into the Imperium's defences at the terminus of the Nachmund Gauntlet. The new book details his assault on the fortified planet of Sangua Terra. Before him stands the Sanctus Wall, a reinforced bastion of 4 entire systems, poised to defend the pathway to Terra. Now, you may be wondering how on earth the Gauntlet being virtually lost to the forces of Abaddon is a good thing, but in my view it absolutely is, for one specific reason. This is the ramping up of drama to backdrop Guilliman's next crusade. It means that Guilliman's invasion of Imperium Nihilus will now finally begin. We have reached the moment. We know Guilliman's next stage of Indomitus is to reclaim Imperium Nihilus, and we've seen the preparation for that spoken of and being laid since the very first Dark Imperium novel. And as I said, in our last update in Belisarius Caul's novel, we had Guilliman on the eve of crossing the rift, and we know there is an intent to open another front of attack on the rear of the Nachmund Gauntlet. And now the Gauntlet is under renewed assault and all but lost, which means that front has to come now. The Imperium and Guilliman have no choice but to move, ready or not, because the Nachmund Gauntlet being closed means Imperium Nihilus is all but lost, and it's already barely holding on. So I really think this renewed assault and dire strait within the Nachmund Gauntlet campaign is the event that signifies the arrival of the next big narrative jump. Now of course, Guilliman and his crusade fleets have got a long way to go. They've got half a galaxy of chaos to fight through, and multiple other targets to reach as well, like Dante at Baal, major forge worlds that have been lost, and securing and fortifying the other side of the Attilan Gate, and who knows what else. Again, one of the main focuses for Guilliman crossing the rift was to open a second front on the Nachmund Gauntlet from the rear, relieving that pressure. And this renewed assault by Chaos has only made that more needed, and needed now. We will start to see this journey taking place. That eventual reunion with El Johnson that we've been waiting so long for. Finding out the part he is going to play in this new Imperium. And it's all beginning for me with Chaos's advance within the Nachmund Gauntlet. Mark my words, my friends, it is finally beginning. Guilliman's great fight back into Imperium Nihilus begins now. Now, how long after this crusade supplement until we find out though? That I don't know. I just hope it's soon. But as always everyone, what do you think? Is this the beginning we have all been waiting for? Like me, do you see the loss of the Nachmund Gauntlet as a clear sign that Guilliman's crossing elsewhere is arriving? That it's the logical ramping up of the dire straits in the narrative to add the drama to Guilliman's crusade elsewhere? The stakes and pressure mounting. And how long after the crusade supplement do you think we are going to have to wait to find out? To see the events for ourselves? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. A huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.